In the far reaches of Uranus's upper atmosphere lies a mountain range made of ice and crystal. This landscape is both beautiful and deadly. The peaks glimmer in pale blue light, and the air is so cold that only a few species can survive. Among those creatures is the apex predator. It is a massive, six-legged beast, covered in thick, shimmering fur that glows faintly in the dark. Its eyes shine with soft light, revealing a calm intelligence. The Eldari, a telepathic people who live nearby, believe this creature protects their homeland. They call it the Guardian of Ice. Ambassador Jarrell Corrin of the Galactic Council has come here to ask the Eldari for peace. His home planet is far away, and his people want to mine valuable crystals beneath these mountains. But the Eldari fear that mining will destroy their way of life and the Guardian's home. Jarrell hopes to show them that humans can be trusted. Jarrell arrives in a smooth silver shuttle. He steps onto the ice wearing a special suit to keep him warm. The Eldari meet him at the edge of the frozen plain. They move gracefully, their pale blue skin blending with the ice. Through a gentle telepathic link, they communicate without speaking. Jarrell feels their ancient memories, stories of how the Guardian once saved their people from a terrible storm. Together, they travel into a deep ice cavern. Walls of translucent ice glow from hidden bioluminescent plants. The air echoes with faint sounds of water flowing beneath the ice. The Eldari guide Jarrell carefully, warning him to stay low and quiet. They know the Guardian can hear every movement. After a long, silent walk, they reach the outer edge of the Guardian's territory. Giant ice pillars rise like trees, and snowdrifts swirl around them. Jarrell notices fresh tracks in the snow, 6 deep paw prints that lead toward a glowing blue river. His heart pounds with both fear and wonder. The Eldari envoy named Saren uses her mind to show Jarrell a vision. The Guardian standing on a high ledge, looking out over the ice fields. It is calm but alert. Saren's thoughts also reveal the Guardian's deep bond with the Eldari people. Jarrell feels respect and admiration for this creature. Jarrell takes a slow step forward, careful not to make any sudden movements. Saren places a gentle hand on his shoulder, offering both comfort and caution. She reminds him that many outsiders have tried to harm the Guardian, and none have succeeded. In the distance, a low roar echoes across the icy plain. It is powerful but not angry. Jarrell swallows hard and looks to Saren for guidance. She nods and signals him to stay still. They wait together, hearts racing as the Guardian begins to approach. The wind picks up, carrying tiny ice crystals that sparkle in the light. Jarrell holds his breath as the giant creature steps into view. Its 6 legs move with surprising grace, and its fur shimmers like a living crystal. Its eyes lock onto Jarrell's, and for a moment, time seems to stop. In this silent meeting between human and Guardian, the fate of 2 worlds hangs in the balance. Jarrell Corrin stands on a frozen plateau, surrounded by towering ice formations that sparkle under Uranus's pale light. The air is so cold that each breath feels like sharp needles in his lungs. Ahead of him, the apex predator roams, a massive creature with 6 powerful legs and thick, glowing fur. Its eyes are bright and curious, reflecting the blue of the ice around them. The Eldari envoy, Saren, floats beside Jarrell, her skin almost as pale as the ice. She uses her gentle telepathy to warn him of the danger. She tells him how the Guardian, the name they give the apex predator, has never allowed any outsider to touch it. Many have tried. None have succeeded. Despite the warning, Jarrell takes a cautious step forward. His heart pounds in his chest. He feels fear, but also a strange sense of calm. He believes that showing trust to the Guardian could build a bridge between humans and Eldari. He remembers how Saren shared her people's stories, how the Guardian once saved an entire Eldari village from a sudden ice collapse. That memory gives him courage. The Guardian notices Jarrell's movement. It stops and lifts its head, its eyes locking onto the human. The beast's fur glows faintly in the cold light, and frost forms on its breath. Jarrell kneels slowly, placing one gloved hand on the icy ground. He keeps his body low and his voice soft. He speaks into the air, not aloud, but in his mind, sending calm thoughts to the Guardian. Saren helps echo these thoughts, guiding the Guardian's curiosity. As Jarrell stays still, the Guardian steps closer. Its 6 legs move like silent mountain climbers across the ice. Each step leaves deep impressions in the snow. Jarrell feels the weight of each moment as the beast approaches. He extends his gloved hand slowly, fingers outstretched but relaxed. He does not show any weapon or threat. Instead, he shows openness and respect. The Guardian hesitates, its head tilting as if deciding. Saren's telepathy hums with the Guardian's ancient memories of peace and protection. The giant creature lowers its massive head until its muzzle is just inches away from Jarrell's hand. Around them, the wind carries the soft hiss of shifting ice. Jarrell's heart beats loudly in his ears, yet he remains calm enough to hold his hand steady. When his glove touches the Guardian's fur, an unexpected warmth flows from the beast's body. The fur feels soft and thick, like damp moss warmed by sunlight. The Guardian does not pull away. Instead, it breathes deeply, and its eyes close for a moment in what seems like trust. Jarrell feels a thrill run through him. No outsider has ever felt that warmth before. Saren hovers close, watching with wide eyes. Her telepathy buzzes with relief and wonder. She feels pride in Jarrell's bravery and moves to stand by his side. Both human and Eldari share this moment of connection with the Guardian, forming a silent bond that has never existed before. Around them, the other Eldari watch from a distance, astonished. Whispers travel through their telepathic links. Could this human truly understand the Guardian's spirit? Could he be the one to mend the broken trust caused by years of fear and misunderstanding? As the Guardian gently nudges Jarrell's hand with its massive head, Jarrell feels hope swell in his chest. In that simple touch, the frozen tensions of 2 worlds begin to thaw. News of Jarrell Corran's daring act spreads quickly across the Galactic Council's communication channels. Delegates gather in the Grand Chamber of Triton Prime, a floating station above Uranus. They sit in a circle of illuminated holopanels. Every face glows with concern or anger. At the center of the chamber, High Chancellor Orvek pounds a small gavel on a glowing table. His voice rings out with authority as he demands answers. He calls Jarrell's act reckless and dangerous. The Chancellor fears that by touching the apex predator, Jarrell may have upset a delicate balance between species. Meanwhile, pro-mining representatives use the incident to push their agenda. They argue that the Eldari's ancient beliefs should not block access to valuable crystals buried beneath the ice. One by one, they stand to speak, their voices filled with impatience. These myths only slow us down, they say. If we do not act now, we lose millions in resources. Their words echo in the chamber, stirring tension among the delegates. Jarrell appears as a hologram in the corner of the chamber. His image flickers slightly, but his expression remains calm. He speaks in a measured tone, his words echoing in everyone's mind. "I understand your concerns," he says, "but trust is the first step toward peace. By showing respect to the Guardian, I learned that it is not simply a beast. It is a living, thinking creature that values harmony with the Eldari." He pauses, letting his words sink in. Some delegates shift uneasily, others stare intrigued. Suddenly, Saren's ethereal form appears beside Jarrell's hologram. Her pale blue skin shimmers as she extends her telepathic link to the Council. Through her thoughts, she shares the Guardian's perspective. Memories of times when the Guardian protected Eldari children from avalanches or guided lost travelers through deadly storms. Council members feel a wave of empathy as they sense the Guardian's calm, protective spirit. A few delegates glance at one another, surprised by the depth of this telepathic experience. Yet, not all are convinced. Extremist voices demand that the Eldari prove their worth by allowing mining to begin immediately. One representative accuses Jarrell of undermining galactic security. The chamber grows louder, words overlapping until it feels like a storm inside the station. Saren tries to calm the crowd, projecting images of the wounded Guardian from recent events. She shows how Jarrell and she rescued the creature from a hidden trap, saving its life. Some delegates murmur, reminded that violence only breeds more violence. Unbeknownst to most in the chamber, a secret plan unfolds in the shadows. Vandros Light, a powerful mining magnate, has funded a group of mercenaries to sabotage any peace efforts. He believes only in profit. His agents work quickly to place explosives at the edge of the Guardian's territory on Uranus. Their goal is to kill the Guardian and blame the Eldari, forcing the Council to side with mining interests and justify a full invasion. Back in the Council chamber, Jarrell and Saren sense a shift. The initial hostility begins to wane as the telepathic bond between Saren and the Guardian affects more hearts. Delegate after delegate begins to see that cooperation might lead to true wealth of knowledge, of mutual respect, and of safety for both species. Orvak watches quietly, his stern face softening ever so slightly. As the meeting ends for the day, no final decision is made. Instead, a special committee is formed to investigate how to balance resource needs with cultural preservation. Jarrell and Saren return to their duties, aware that the real test lies ahead on the icy fields of Uranus. In the cold ice fields of Uranus, Jarrell Corrin returns under a pale sky to visit the Guardian and Saren. He walks carefully, his boots crunching on frosty ground. Saren floats beside him, her pale blue skin almost blending with the ice. As they move deeper into the Guardian's territory, Jarrell senses something is wrong. The air feels tense and distant echoes of collapsing ice reach his ears. Saren presses her hand against his arm, sending a silent warning through their telepathic link. Suddenly, a deafening blast shatters the frozen silence. Ice fractures like glass beneath their feet, sending shards in every direction. The Guardian, a massive six-legged beast, roars in pain as it tumbles into a deep crevasse. Jarrell's heart races. He drops to his knees, fear and guilt flooding his mind. Saren fights back tears as she realizes the blast was no accident. Someone has betrayed them. She reaches out to Jarrell with her mind, urging him to stay calm and focus on the Guardian's scent. Jarrell scrambles toward the jagged crevasse, using his suit's light to guide each careful step. The Guardian's deep cry echoes from the darkness below. Saren hovers at the edge, summoning her telepathic power to locate the exact position of the wounded beast. Her thoughts reveal fragments of how mercenaries, hired by a greedy mining magnate, set explosives to kill the Guardian and blame the Eldari. They hope to provoke a war, forcing the Galactic Council to side with mining interests. This betrayal angers Jarrell, but he pushes aside his rage, focusing on saving the creature that once accepted his touch. Using ropes and ice spikes, Jarrell begins to climb into the crevasse. The walls are steep and slick, but his training holds. Saren uses her telepathy to calm the Guardian, sending soothing images and memories of gentle snowstorms. The wounded beast lies on a narrow ledge, its fur matted and fur glowing dimly in the cold. Jarrell reaches out, placing a gloved hand on the creature's side. Despite its pain, the Guardian trembles with a soft, thankful vibration. He smooths his hand along its fur, whispering silent promises of healing. Working together, Jarrell and Saren pull the Guardian to safety. As they climb back up, the crevasse shifts under their weight. Jagged ice threatens to collapse, but Saren's telepathy guides Jarrell's every move. Finally, they reach solid ground. The Guardian rises slowly, its 6 legs unsteady but determined. It lifts its massive head and nuzzles Jarrell's hand, acknowledging his courage. Jarrell feels warmth spread through him, a stark contrast to the brutal cold of Uranus. Saren hovers close, relief shining in her pale eyes. As the Guardian staggers to its feet, Jarrell and Saren watch over it. The beast stands tall, its wounds glowing with soft blue light as if the ice itself is healing it. Around them, the wind howls, carrying the scent of betrayal and hope. Jarrell knows that this act of saving the Guardian will change everything. The betrayal in the ice has united them, human, Eldari, and Guardian, against those who would harm their fragile alliance. In that moment, a new bond is sealed, one born of trust, bravery, and the unwavering promise to protect their shared future. Inside a vast, glowing chamber aboard Triton Prime, delegates from across the galaxy gather around a translucent holotable. Soft blue lights ripple across the walls like water. Jarell Corrin appears as a flickering hologram in one corner, and Saren's pale presence floats beside him, her telepathic link reaching into every mind present. High Chancellor Orvak's voice echoes through the room, carrying a tone of finality. He speaks of an ultimatum. The Eldari must grant mining rights to human corporations within the sacred ice fields, or face economic sanctions and the possibility of losing their protected status. The chamber is heavy with tension. On the holotable, a map of Uranus's northern glaciers is displayed, dotted with mining sites and Eldari settlements. Pro-mining advocates point at the map, arguing that these crystals are vital for galactic energy production. They speak of jobs, technological advances, and economic growth. A few delegates murmur their agreement, swayed by the promise of profit, but many eyes remain fixed on Jarell's hologram. They know his mission was to build peace, not profit. Jarell's voice is calm but firm as he addresses the council. The Guardian is alive and recovering, he says, knowing that Saren's telepathy will echo his words into every delegate's mind. This creature embodies balance between the Eldari and their world. Harming it would destroy centuries of trust. He pauses, letting his words resonate. The chamber grows quiet. Some delegates shift uncomfortably, memories of the Guardian's rescue still fresh. Saren floats forward, her voice a gentle undercurrent that moves through the room. Through her thoughts, she shares the Guardian's perspective. It remembers the kindness Jarell showed, the gentle touch that saved its life. Some delegates feel a wave of empathy as they imagine the Guardian's warm fur beneath a human hand. They sense its protective spirit and understand its value beyond any mineral resource. Yet there are those who remain unmoved. A representative from a powerful mining syndicate stands up, accusing the Eldari of hiding outdated superstitions that block progress. "We cannot let sentimentality halt our expansion," the voice booms. The Eldari's sacred beliefs are a threat to galactic advancement. Others nod in agreement, their faces hard and resolute. As voices collide, Orvak's stern gaze sweeps the chamber. He reminds everyone that the Council's unity and shared prosperity depend on compromise. He proposes a new deal: limited, strictly regulated mining in southern ice fields, areas where the Guardian is not known to roam. In exchange, the Council will fund Eldari research into sustainable mining methods and protect key Guardian habitats. This proposal sits on the holotable, glowing with potential. Some delegates lean forward, intrigued by the compromise. Others remain skeptical, distrustful of promises. Saren senses the doubt in the room, telepathically urging the Guardian's influence to soothe the anxious minds. She recalls how the Guardian once led Eldari children through blizzards to safety, and she sends that memory to the Council, hoping to bridge hearts with shared compassion. The chamber falls into a tense silence. Orvak's words hang in the air. "We will vote tomorrow. Consider the future you want, a galaxy united by respect or divided by greed." Jarell's hologram flickers and fades, and Saren's presence recedes to the corner. Delegates leave in small clusters, their murmurs reflecting uncertainty, hope, and fear. Outside, the blizzard's cold winds swirl around Triton Prime. The ultimatum's weight presses on both Eldari and humans. Tomorrow's vote will determine if cooperation can overcome the lure of profit, and whether the Guardian's gentle bond can reshape the fate of two worlds. Jarell Corrin and Saren find themselves cornered in the lower decks of Triton Prime. The narrow corridors are dimly lit by flickering lights, and each step echoes against metal walls. Behind them, the sound of heavy boots and shouts grows louder. Mercenaries hired by greedy interests are closing in. Their mission: capture Jarell and Saren and stop the fragile peace they represent. Jarell grips Saren's hand as they slip through a side passage. Her pale blue skin gleams faintly in the gloom, and his heartbeat thunders in his ears. They round a corner and encounter two sentries. Without hesitation, Jarell raises his voice in a calm command. Stand down. Though he speaks normally, Saren sends telepathic images of peaceful surrender to the mercenaries' minds. Confusion floods their faces, buying a moment for Jor-El to guide Saren past them. Hearts pounding, they move on. Down a twisting corridor. A pair of armored guards blocks their path. Lasers flicker in the shadows. Jor-El hesitates only briefly before leaning close to Saren. Her telepathy reaches out to each guard, soothing their fears with gentle thoughts. The guards lower their weapons, disoriented. Jor-El quickly ushers Saren past them, their footsteps silent against the cold metal floor. The hum of a hangar's doors opening reaches them next. They can see the vast chamber beyond. The rusted hull of an old Terran warship, the Aurora's Pledge, bathed in pale light. Jor-El rushes toward it, dragging Saren behind him. Mercenaries burst into the hall, blaster rifles raised. Saren's telepathy flares, sending a wave of calm that touches even the hired fighters. Some hesitate. Others press forward. Jor-El pulls Saren inside the ship, sealing the hatch behind them with a hiss. Inside the Aurora's Pledge, the air is warm compared to the station's chill. Jor-El races down the narrow corridor to the cockpit, with Saren floating close behind. She presses her hand to her chest, taking slow breaths to steady her racing heart. Jor-El strikes switches and levers, the ship's engines roaring to life. Red and orange lights dance across control panels as the ship vibrates, ready for flight. Through the cockpit's viewport, they see mercenaries firing on the hatch. Sparks fly as plasma bolts strike the reinforced door. Jor-El tightens his grip on the controls. "Hold on," he whispers to Saren. The ship shudders, then lifts off the deck. Alarms blare as magnetic clamps release and the landing gear retracts. Above them, Triton Prime's hull stretches away, a maze of metal and ice drifting in orbit. Saren watches Jor-El's focused face, tears of relief glinting in her eyes. She whispers a telepathic vow of love, promising to stand by him no matter the trials ahead. Jor-El glances at her, his expression softening. In that moment, they share a gentle touch. His hand brushes her cheek, her head tilts toward him, and they exchange a brief, tender kiss. The Aurora's Pledge clears the station's atmosphere and heads toward the ice fields of Uranus. Outside the viewport, swirling auroras paint the sky in greens and purples. Saren lets out a breath she did not realize she held. Jor-El's hand remains on her shoulder, a silent promise of protection. Together, they plot a course back to the Guardians' territory, knowing that their love will guide them through the dangers to come. Jor-El Corrin pilots the Aurora's Pledge through Uranus's swirling upper atmosphere. The ship trembles as powerful winds buffet its hull. Beside him, Saren steadies herself by gripping the control panel. Outside the viewport, vast ice fields stretch beneath them, glowing faintly under Uranus's pale light. Jor-El's heart pounds with urgency. They must reach the Guardian before the Council's fleet arrives. Finally, the ship breaks through the clouds, revealing a hidden ice cavern where the Guardian awaits. Its 6 glowing eyes flicker as it sees them approach. Its massive form stands tall on a platform of frozen crystal. Jor-El lands the Aurora's Pledge on a sturdy ice ledge, and he and Saren hurry out. The air here is still, filled with a sense of ancient calm. The Guardian moves toward them, its heavy steps causing the ice beneath to crack softly. Jor-El touches the Guardian's fur, feeling warmth spread through his gloved hand. Saren places a hand on the Guardian's flank, sharing a wave of comforting thoughts. The Guardian inhales, sensing the bond between human and Eldori. At that moment, a shadow darkens the cavern's entrance. Through the thick ice walls, lights from dozens of Council battlecruisers appear, their weapons aimed at the cavern's heart. Jor-El and Saren return to the Aurora's Pledge, motioning the Guardian to follow. They guide it through a narrow tunnel that leads above ground. As they emerge, the Guardian stands towering against the snowy landscape, its fur glowing like a beacon. The battlecruisers hover overhead, their commanders ready to fire. Saren reaches out telepathically to the Guardian, sending images of peace and trust. The Guardian raises its head, and lets out a low, resonant call that echoes across the ice fields. At that sound, hundreds of smaller apex predators emerge from hidden caves, forming a living barrier between the cavern and the battlecruisers. Their fur glistens in frozen light, their eyes glowing with silent resolve. Jarrell activates a makeshift transmitter on the Aurora's pledge. He broadcasts a live holofeed to the Galactic Council, showing the Guardian and its kin standing protectively before the humans in Eldari. His voice trembles but remains steady as he addresses the fleet's commander. "If you open fire, you will destroy a sacred species and break the fragile peace we fought to build. Look at what unites us. A bond that transcends borders and species. Do not let fear drive you to destroy this world." On Triton Prime, the battlecruiser commanders receive the feed. Saren's telepathic influence ripples through the council delegates. They feel the Guardian's calm strength and remember how Jarrell once saved its life. Whispers pass among them. "We cannot commit genocide in the name of profit." Some of the fleet's weapons begin to power down as hesitation spreads. Back on Uranus, the Guardian stands firm, its massive form blocking the path of descending lasers. Saren channels the Guardian's thoughts into the fleet's minds. Images of blizzards calmed by the creature's presence. Memories of Eldari children saved from avalanches. The captains of the battlecruisers pause, their weapons' shutters closing. Jarrell sees the first sign of retreat as one cruiser slowly pulls back. The leader of the fleet lowers her hand from the firing controls. She speaks through a calm link. "You have given us reason to believe in your vision of unity. We stand down." Relief washes over Jarrell and Saren as the hovercrafts retreat into the sky. The Guardian lets out a triumphant roar, and its kin respond with howls that echo across the ice. In the aftermath, a new accord is drafted directly on the frozen ground. Humans, Eldari, and apex predators gather around a shimmering ice table. Jarrell and Saren stand side by side as representatives of two worlds. The treaty grants limited mining rights under strict protections, ensures full protection for the Guardian's habitats, and establishes a joint research initiative to study the predator's unique biology. As Jarrell gently pets the Guardian's head, Saren places her hand on his shoulder, their foreheads touching in quiet celebration. The Guardian nudges Jarrell's hand, its warm fur glowing softly under Uranus's aurora-lit sky. Together, they have shown that even in the coldest reaches of space, trust and compassion can forge a future where all can thrive. On the frozen plateau, humans, Eldari, and apex predators gather around in natural ice days. Jarrell, Corin, and Saren stand side by side, their breath visible in the cold air. The treaty they fought for lies etched into a glowing ice tablet. Limited mining zones to the south, protection of Guardian habitats to the north, and a joint research alliance. The Guardians, six-legged beasts with glowing fur, circle protectively, their presence a promise of balance. Saren sends her telepathic warmth to each Eldari. They recall how Jarrell saved the Guardian from a hidden trap. Humans bow their heads, humbled by the Guardian's trust. A gentle wind carries soft light, painting the sky green and purple. A council envoy arrives by small transport, carrying sealed scrolls. Kneeling before the ice tablet, they pronounce the accord. The Eldari will retain sovereignty over the northern glaciers. Human corporations may mine the southern fields under strict rules. The Guardian and its kin will be fully protected. A research station will open on neutral ground to study apex predator biology. Jarrell steps forward, voice calm. "We made mistakes, but we learned that respect and compassion can guide us. Let this accord stand as proof that even the coldest worlds can warm when hearts unite." Saren touches his hand, sharing pride through her telepathy. An elder Eldari places a small crystal on the treaty. It glows, sealing the accord. The Guardians respond with a low, harmonious call. Their sounds blend with the wind, a reminder of their guardianship. In the crowd, miners and environmentalists watch with cautious hope. Mining leaders nod, understanding that short-term gain cannot outweigh harmony. Eldari children press close to Saren, hopeful for a safe future. Jarrell gently pets one Guardian's head as it approaches. Its fur feels warm despite the cold. Its eyes meet Jarell's, an unspoken bond passing between them. Saren stands close, her pale eyes reflecting the Guardian's glow. Together, they live unity. Human compassion and Eldari wisdom joined by the Guardian's trust. As the ceremony ends, the crowd disperses. Engineers head south to survey mining sites. Healers gather near the Guardians to learn about their resilience. Children slip across the ice, making playful shapes. The auroras above dance with renewed brightness, celebrating peace. As night deepens, they gaze at the horizon where ice meets sky. Each glimmering star seems to promise possibilities yet unseen. Jarell and Saren know challenges remain, but they'd also feel hope. In their unity, they carry a message to all worlds. That trust can heal wounds even in the harshest places. Jarell and Saren remain until the auroras fade. They look at the treaty, still glowing faintly. "This is just the beginning," Saren whispers. Jarell smiles, hand finding hers. "Together," he replies, "we will keep our promises." Beneath Uranus's swirling skies, a new era dawns. Humans, Eldari, and apex predators stand united. Proof that even amid bitter cold, kindness can melt barriers and forge bonds brighter than any crystal.